This is Lucifera.
This is Shindo back again for another reading from the Secret Book of John. We are on the chapter titled Humanity Begins. Lucifera will be reading the text and I will be reading the annotations.
Then came a voice from the highest realms saying, "The man exists, and the Son of Man." Yaldabaoth, chief ruler, heard it. He thought it came from his mother. He did not know the true source of the voice, the Holy Mother Father, perfect providence, image of the invisible, Father of everything, in whom everything has come to be.
We know, but Yaldabaoth does not, that providence, prono, barbello, mother, with permission of the Father, is the source of the image of the first man. Quote, "The man exists," unquote, refers to Barbello, who was called first man, and thrice male, etc. Bear in mind that the sexual designations for divine functions are not to be taken seriously. The, quote, "Son of Man," unquote, refers to the Son, or Christ, the final unfolding of the divine mind. The secret book of John reveals that the image of God, the human image, shone forth to Yaldabaoth in the whole fullness, the entire pleroma, the Father and the Mother and the Son.
The first man, this is the one whom appeared to them. He appeared in the form of a human being.
The rescue of Sophia's divine power begins. The whole realm of the divine mind, the pleroma, described in detail earlier, now is manifest to Yaldabaoth in a special form. The power within him has previously revealed to him in a dim and inadequate matter the nature of the realm above, and he has made an incompetent effort to reproduce it in the form of the lower world, an activity that is a continuation of wisdom's self-contradictory effort to apprehend the whole of the pleroma by herself. Here, for the first time, the whole pleroma, the divine mind and image of God, ultimate reality, clearly shines forth, not in mandala form, but in the form of a perfect human being.
All of the realm of the chief ruler quaked. The foundations of the abyss moved.
Divine revelation destabilizes the very structure of lower reality. At the outset of the secret book of John, the world quaked when Jesus first reveals his ascended presence to John. Here the revelation of the image of God, man and the Son of Man, who are not two different beings, but two structures within the full pleroma of the divine mind, begins a process that will move this world from being. We will again hear of the quaking of the foundations in the secret book of John's concluding hymn.
He illuminated the waters above the world of matter. His image shone in those waters.
As does the Hebrew Bible in Genesis 1:6-8, the secret book of John assumes that above the sky is water and below the earth is water. If you look up beyond the stars into the blackness of night, what you see is water. This heavenly realm of water is the ninth sphere, the temporary abode of Sophia. Normally it is dark in the spaces beyond the stars. Now suddenly it is illuminated. We already heard that the whole fullness was revealed to Sophia in the ninth sphere. Now we hear about the form of that fullness takes when apprehended from below, the form of a human being.
All the demons and the first ruler together gazed up toward the underside of the newly shine waters.
The rulers, especially Yaldabaoth, see the image of God, the prototype human being, reflected in the waters above the earth, surrounded and illuminated by supernatural light. This is part of the secret book of John's ongoing revision of Moses' account in Genesis. This passage is the true story behind the idea of mankind being made in the image of God.
Through that light they saw the image in the waters.
In this sequence, the myth returns to the very beginning of the story. The one gazed into his own light and saw itself reflected there. The self that was seen came into being as Barbello, and the whole unfolding of the divine mind followed. Now that divine mind is reflected in light above the world, and the construction of humanity will follow based on that reflection of a reflection.
Yaldabaoth said to his subordinate demons, "Let's create a man according to the image of God and our own likeness, so that his image will illuminate us."
This is a reworking of the Genesis creation myth. The secret book of John accepts its structure but leaves the standard interpretation of the myth, that of Moses, is in error. Here Genesis 1:27 is at issue. Quote, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness," unquote. Yaldabaoth will eventually end up with a man that is, in some respects, like the image he has seen, in our image, quote unquote, and in other respects, like the beings of his lower world, quote, "after our likeness," unquote. Since their world is so dim, Yaldabaoth and his demons hope to retain some of the illumination that emblazoned the divine image in the waters above.
Each one, through another's power, created aspects of the man. Each added a characteristic corresponding to the psychic factors they had seen in the image above them.
Yaldabaoth acts through the subordinate demons that he has previously brought into being. Each power creates an aspect of the first human being, a process that will be detailed as the story unfolds. At this stage of Adam's creation, each demon works through an associated power and will be elaborated in the next section.
They made a creature of substance in the likeness of that perfect first man. And they said, "Let us call him Adam, so that his name will give us the power of light."
Because the demonic powers know about Adam from the illuminated vision that they had of him in the waters above, they expect that when they have completed his creation, he will help illuminate their dim world. Ironically, he will eventually remove from their world all of the light power that it now contains. Wow. Well, what this passage reminds me of is an old Zen Buddhist saying that goes, "The reflection of the moon in the water is not the moon." Here we see Yaldabaoth, the demiurge, seeing a reflection of himself, or a reflection of the, if you will, the Godhead, the true God, the true Mother, Father Godhead that says, "Let us create them in our image, both male and female." And that reflection of the true Godhead that is reflected in the waters below, and they use that reflection to recreate this man. The ironic thing, and we'll get into, I guess, in the next section, is that the Spirit of God that is breathed into Adam and Eve, and of course this is all allegorical, we're not talking about a literal story, but the Spirit of God that is breathed into Adam and Eve later is actually the Holy Spirit, that is the Spirit of wisdom, that is Sophia, the Holy Spirit. So although we have flesh as human beings, which is material and therefore against everything that Gnosticism stands for, although we have material flesh, within this material flesh we have the Spirit of God, which is the Holy Spirit, which is represented by the divine feminine Sophia. All right, another ending of another interesting chapter in the secret book of John. This is Shindo.
And this is Luciferra.
Until next time.